I am not Republican, I am not a liberal. Why the hell can't I just be American without getting political? The system gon' suppress us all, they don't care about the cost. How's this a democracy when we got communists in charge? Cancel culture Nazis, all they're missing is the swastikas. Honestly, this is a psychological holocaust. Pumping propaganda through the screen and straight into your brain. You ain't on a plantation, but you definitely still a slave. Race theory is indoctrinating children. Tell blacks they're disadvantaged, tell whites they got white privilege. What a brilliant way to reinforce division. If whites believe they have it easy, they will never help you fight the system. And now they burning books in untraditional ways. They just traded newspapers for the digital age. Now the facts can be deleted with no physical flames. They just change the information and the truth gets erased. They keep screaming to wake up, but they're all woke, not awake. We know the system has failed us and all the media's fake. I swear the government hates us. Having opinions is dangerous. The system built to enslave us only works if we're afraid.
I am not a Republican. I am not a liberal. Why can't I just be American without getting political? Hey guys, and welcome to Mika Reaction Reviews, where reaction reviews of things on the internet. I'm still in transit. My camera battery is still busted, so I'm holding my phone, makeshift setup. But I couldn't skip and miss another Tom Macdonald video. I know I skipped or missed the Ben Shapiro one, but I will be reacting to it, so please stay tuned. Tom Macdonald will always and forever stay a permanent figure on this channel because that's how I started this channel, even though this channel is no longer a music react channel. Tom Macdonald and people like Dax will always have a home here.
I am not Republican, I am not a liberal. Why the hell can't I just be American without getting political?
So, saying that he is not on either side is something I've been saying since I started this channel and since I was old enough to vote. Unfortunately, and I mentioned this in my last video, having common sense, it's like saying 3-year-olds should not be able to change their gender, or there's a biological difference between men and women, and that freedom of speech is the thing that Americans should really be holding on to, makes you a conservative. No, it means you just have common sense. But because both sides of the political coin wants to just add to their army for this tribal war, they try to politicize everything.
Cancel culture Nazis, all they're missing is the swastikas. Honestly, this is a psychological holocaust.
Cancel culture Nazis, all they're missing is the swastika, causing a mental holocaust. I know I'm butchering the lyrics there, but I like the way he tied that all together, historically speaking. It all kind of belongs in the same category. Like a lot of these groups, these far left, far progressive groups that are obsessed with cancel culture, basically act like the neo-Nazis of today. Basically like act like us, do what we say, speak how we want you to speak, don't use the words we don't want you to use, behave with the way we want you to behave, and think the way we want you to think. And if you do not, we are going to try to cancel you and ruin your life financially or ruin your reputation. However, I have seen the right pick up cancel culture behavior. You guys just like to call it something else. Like, no, it's not cancel culture. It's responsibility culture, accountability culture, bringing shame back into the culture. It's the same fucking thing. You just labeled it something else. And I'm not saying responsibility and accountability is a bad thing, but it just seems like you just want people to take accountability for behavior or lifestyles that you just simply don't approve of.
Pumping propaganda through the screen and straight into your brain. You ain't on a plantation, but you definitely still a slave.
Pumping propaganda from the screen to your brain. You're definitely not on a plantation, but you're still a slave. And he is not just talking about people that look like me. He's talking about the human race, or more specifically, Americans. Everyone's pretty much a slave to something. But I guess in this context, it's a slave to your ideology. It's a slave to your political beliefs, your political ideas. It's just a slave to the idea, the way you think the world should work, or how people should live their lives. It's a slave to the 9-to-5 rat race kind of thing. The Matrix, let's just say the Matrix, a slave to that. And if whether you like it or not, all of us is a product, since we were babies, since we were born, of different bits of information being fed to us, and some of that you can call propaganda, to create our perspective, our perceptions of the world, and how we think things should go, and how things should be ran, and what's right and what's wrong. And some of these things are objectively true. Some of these things are just how God made it, and some of these things are just biological. But some things has just been fed to us and brainwashed and created and manipulated to be like this. And the propaganda and the brainwashing is just becoming more proficient or more efficient, because before we had newspapers, right? And it took a long time for rage bait news headlines to go viral. And then you had radio, and then you had television news programs, you had cable TV, satellite stream, and now you have social media where people voluntarily shackle themselves to their little tiny devices, glue their eyeballs to the screen, and sit in their echo chambers and just absorb it all into their consciousness. Propaganda comes from every side. And if you don't think you're not falling for some sort of propaganda now and again, here and there, then you're probably one of the main corporates of someone falling for propaganda.
Race theory is indoctrinating children. Tell blacks they're disadvantaged, tell whites they got white privilege. What a brilliant way to reinforce division. If whites believe they have it easy, they will never help you fight the system.
Critical race theory is just here to provide division. And if white people feel like they're privileged, then it won't help you fight the system. I don't believe Tom Macdonald is saying that if white people believe themselves that they are privileged, then why would they want to help you fight the system? I think he's saying that the school systems and the media and social medias are teaching children, black children, or POCs, people of color, that, hey, white people are so privileged, they're not going to even help you. They don't even care about your oppression or your victimization. They don't care what happens to you because they are benefiting from the system. It's the same thing with the patriarchy. Why would men care about women's problems? They're benefiting from the patriarchy, stuff like that, right? So it just makes one side hate the other because you're telling the other side you're really, really oppressed, and the other side doesn't really care about you because they're benefiting from your oppression. I think critical race theory is a fine thing to be in higher learning university as a philosophy theory that's discussed around roundtables, but I don't think political race theory of any form, because yes, direct critical race theory is not being taught to kids, but aspects of critical race theory is being taught to very young children, and that's how they get you. They'll say like critical race theory is not being taught in elementary schools. No, like the actual thing is not, but aspects of critical race theory is being taught to very, very young children. And I have said time and time again that the new modern dupe of people of color is being taught that you are oppressed and that you're a victim, taught and woven into the deep parts of their freaking souls that this victimhood and this culture, the victim culture, this oppression belief. Because if you keep being told that you can't or they won't let you, that is going to affect you psychologically, mentally. That's going to affect how you move through the world, how you think of yourself, and how you think of the people around you. Telling little black girls, little black boys that you are oppressed. The world kind of hates you because of your blackness. But those white kids, that white kid right next to you, little Jimmy and little Tiffany over there, they got everything. The world is just handed to them on a silver platter, and it's nothing you can really do about it unless those white folks just help you out, or big daddy government. But before you think that this is just a POC thing, a people of color thing, a black thing, victim culture, victim mindset is pretty much in every single community these days. I think people saw the currency of victimhood and wanted a piece of the fucking pie. You see it in feminism, you see it in the queer community, the trans community, the fat community, any community you can think of, but you also see it in the red pill community and the manosphere community. Not the entire manosphere community, but it's there. They have just become feminists with balls. Is every fault in the world, every plight of man is women's fault. It's the evil women, it's the evil feminists, it's those vaginas. If it's not the female that's completely destroying society, it's the matrix or the government. What about their own accountability and their responsibility for choosing their own lives, the path that they took? Same argument that feminists use against men, they're just using it against women. Everybody wants to be a fucking victim now. It's this obsession with victimhood and this obsession with trying to demoralize those you think are victimizing you. But there may be currency in victimhood for the short term, but in long term, you will always just lose. Life isn't fair. Life isn't fair for everybody, no matter what community you belong to. I think the biggest division that we should be talking about is class difference, like poverty versus the rich. But for the most part, if you're not born with a silver spoon in your mouth, life's not fair. And I'm not saying rich people don't have their problems, but let's get real. They're not the problems that we have. That's what we call them, rich people's problems, right? And so this idea that everybody wants to monopolize and be the most oppressed and be the most victim, like, it's pathetic, and it's not going to help anything. It's not going to move anything forward. You can have a discussion about how things should change without victimizing yourself and trying to demoralize the other side that you think is the enemy.
And now they burning books in untraditional ways. They just traded newspapers for the digital age. Now the facts can be deleted with no physical flames. They just change the information and the truth gets erased.
I'm really, really glad he brought this up, burning books in the digital age, because this is really, really true. There was actually this guy, and I'll see if I can find the video. There was this guy that got paid a lot of money. At least this is what he's alleging. alleging to go back to old Disney cartoons like from the 1930s and paint in chemtrails in the clouds so it can look like they've always been there. So when someone says, hey, these chemtrails are dangerous, or what is this? Let's talk about the chemtrails. They're going to end up just looking like a crazy tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist. Like, they don't already look like that, but still, people are going to go back eventually. There'll be a time when people are going to go back to cartoons from the 30s and say, see, clouds have always looked like that. This man was paid to do that.
One of my clients, one of my patients, is a producer in Hollywood.
Kriegte vor 2 Jahren einen Auftrag von Disney.
2 years ago, he received a task from Disney
Alle alten Disney-Movies zu überarbeiten.
To go over and edit all the old Disney movies.
In den Himmel diese Streifen einzubauen.
To put into the scenes of the sky these stripes.
So, when people see a Disney movie
Also wenn
today
dann die Leute einen Disney-Film schauen heutzutage.
und sagen, well, Klinghardt, du sagst Klinghardt, dass diese Streifenbildung erst in den letzten Jahren so schlimm geworden ist.
And then for example, people say today, well, Klinghardt, you're talking about these stripes being formed on the sky today only as of late.
Dann sagen sie, hier ist ein Film von 1954, guck dir den Himmel an.
Then they will say,
der hat die gleichen Streifen drin.
Look at this movie here from 1954. There are the same stripes at the sky.
Die Streifen sind ein natürliches Phänomen.
That then convince people that the stripes are a natural phenomenon.
Mein Patient hatte für $60 Millionen bekommen.
My patient received for this job $60 million.
Now they can do this because everything's digital, just like a currency, right? They can go back and change lyrics to rap songs and books and literatures and paintings and movies and information and history. And it just takes a generation or two for it to be completely erased, for the truth to completely disappear. Why do you think all these conspiracy theories talk about how we have all this lost history? If it can happen now, if they can delete history now, why wouldn't they've done it before? You know what I mean? Like, all the lost information we might have had at some point completely deleted from the history. And it only takes a few generations for it to be gone. If you get rid of the information, who's going to hold on to it? Who's going to be able to recite it and repeat it? And if you do, you're just going to look like a crazy person because there will be no evidence to back you up.
They keep screaming to wake up, but they're all woke, not awake. We know the system has failed us and all the media's fake. I swear the government hates us. Having opinions is dangerous. The system built to enslave us only works if we're afraid.
So I really like the chorus. I like the singing Tom is one of his better chorus. Not chorus, but hooks. Is that what you call it, a hook? I know Tom Macdonald has been getting a lot of crap for those here and there. And he's also been getting a lot of crap for something else that I'll talk about later on in a video. And apparently there's some drama with Upchurch that I'm not really going to get into in this video, but weird. Anywho, they say that they tell us to wake up. This is in the hook. They tell us to wake up, but they're woke, not awake. I'm really annoyed that people kind of perverted the word woke in red pill, by the way, because red pill wasn't supposed to be to open your eyes to the horribleness of the female race. Red pill was more like zeitgeist. And if you don't know what a zeitgeist is, there's a series that used to be on Netflix that I doubt is still there that basically pulled back the curtains of who's really controlling America and some histories about America. And that's what I thought red pill was supposed to be, to open your eyes to the puppeteers of us puppet. Anywho, let's get back into the video.
I am not Republican, I am not a liberal. Progressive and traditional are hitmen hired to kill the individual. They label people red or blue, divide us, they don't ever help. They want you thinking left or right, so you ain't thinking for yourself. Go ahead and vote, cause both the parties are the same side. Two teams, one coach, controlled by the same guys. Left wing, right wing, both help the same bird fly. Brainwashing everybody at the same time. The internet was once a place that we could get our facts from. Now it's been monopolized, it's Google or it's Amazon. Who fact checking the fact checkers? I can answer that one. The people who control the narratives through the platforms. Let me break this down for you, simple as I can, Kate. They use social conditioning to put you in the rat race. It doesn't matter if you're first or third or if you're last place. You're still a rat and they're the cats who kill you so you can't escape. They keep screaming to wake up, but they're all woke, not awake. We know the system has failed us and all the media's fake. I swear the government hates us. Having opinions is dangerous. The system built to
wasn't holding this mic and my phone in my hand right now, I would get up and give Tom Macdonald a standing ovation for that line. Liberals and traditionals are hitmen to kill the individual. This is 100% true. He talked about communists earlier in a video, like how could we call this a democracy where we're being run by communists?
System gonna suppress us all, they don't care about the cost. How's this a democracy when we got communists in charge?
And Republicans and conservatives really like to throw out that word, like, oh, they're communists, they're socialists, right? But we're very far right, traditional, right-winged conservatives have something in common with socialism and communism, and that's groupthink. And if this does not apply to you, then it's not you, but it does happen. It's groupthink. It's what's better for society, or what's better for the culture, or what's better for the community, that the conservatives, traditionalists feel like there's one way that people should live because it's better for society, right? And it's to get married, have kids, get a 9-to-5, work at a factory, retire with your grandkids and die, right? That's sort of the traditional way. Traditional and conservative way, because conservatism is to conserve the way things were, right? And you can't really respect the individual if you're trying to force everybody to live in a way that you feel is better for society, even if you might have some good points. Progressives are the same. They feel that there's a better way to live in society, so they're trying to force people to live the way they think people should live because it's better for the society, it's better for the system, it's better for people. That's what they truly believe, just as much as you truly believe what you believe in. And a part of me totally understands why somebody would want to do that. People don't like the unknown, people don't really like change, and people don't really like the idea of living in a society that is unfamiliar to them, or something I think is really dangerous for the future of the country. But for me, if you are someone who talks about individual freedoms and individual rights and don't tread on me and all that stuff, I don't understand why you can't just respect how somebody else is going to live their lives without this idea. Again, you're using different words as cancel. You use it because I see a lot of conservatives talking about, like, we got to bring shame back. Shame these people. Why? Because you're trying to force and coerce people to live the way you think is right. That is group think. If a female says, I don't want to have children, she's selfish because she's not thinking about society. Group think. She's not thinking about the community. Group think. It's the same thing as communism. That's an aspect of communism and socialism that you guys have in common, that you want everybody to live the way you think is better to live, and you have your self-righteous beliefs and reasons why you think you're right about that. And in some ways, you are right. For the most part, society should consist of well-structured families. However, that's not for everybody. And I want to live in a society where everybody's individual choices are respected, not shamed, not ridiculed, not laughed at. They're just minding their business and living their lives. Why does it bother you so freaking much? Why do I see people on either side get triggered out of their asshole? I thought it was individual liberty, individual rights, individual freedoms. Why is how somebody else is living their life your fucking problem? If someone is not hurting you or hurting your loved ones or treading on you or taking your property or objectively spreading dangerous information, especially to children, it's really none of your effing business. That's not respecting the individual, not for a second. And I want to make this very clear. I'm not against traditionalism, and I'm not against the 9-to-5, and I'm not against the old ways of living. I respect that. I respect the hell out of that. And I want people to be able to do that without getting blockades put in their way. But just as much as I respect that, I want other people to respect other people's way of life. Again, as long as they're not hurting anybody.
I am not Republican, I am not a liberal. Progressive and traditional are hitmen hired to kill the individual. They label people red or blue, divide us, they don't ever help. They want you thinking left or right, so you ain't thinking for yourself.
They label you because they don't care about the individual. They want you to think left and right, so you're not thinking for yourself. Amen. Amen to that, Pastor Tom.
Go ahead and vote, cause both the parties are the same side. Two teams, one coach, controlled by the same guys. Left wing, right wing, both help the same bird fly. Brainwashing everybody at the same time.
You're basically voting for the same side. This is something I very much believe. I think most politicians all play on the same golf course. They all go to the same cocktail dinners. I think they all are buddy-buddy with each other, and they all benefit each other, and not you or I or the people. I think it's very rare if you see an independent political person. I think the higher up you go, the more likely they are corrupt and don't give a fuck about you, no matter if they have a big R on their chest or a big D on their chest. I do think sometimes people get sort of lulled into a sense of comfortability when they get their guy in the office, and then maybe the gas prices drop a little bit, maybe some of the woke stuff may disappear a little bit, and then you feel like, oh well, we really won, but you didn't really win anything, because most substantial things never really change. Like, life never gets substantially better. You get little breadcrumbs, you get enough rope to make you feel like you're free and to make you feel comfortable, so you go back to sleep and you stop paying attention.
Let me break this down for you, simple as I can, Kate. They use social conditioning to put you in the rat race. It doesn't matter if you're first or third, or if you're last place, you're still a rat, and they're the cats who kill you so you can't escape.
Social conditioning. I just talked about this earlier. This is something that the left mainly talks about, that the right really doesn't like to hear, because they very much believe that everything is just biological and this is just the way God made it. And some of that is true. Some things is just biology. Some things is just the way God made it. But some things is social conditioning. Which is which is for you to find out, for you to figure out for yourself. But like, yes, like I said it earlier, most people don't like to think this way, but ever since you were a wee baby, still in your mommy's womb, you were being fed propaganda. You're being fed information. If this wasn't true, then there wouldn't be differences in culture, right? Different cultures are different because they grew up in a different bubble that fed them different information, and they turned out differently than you. And I'm not saying like aliens or anything like that, but they have different beliefs. In America, if you burp at dinner, people look at you and like, who the fuck raised you? You're disgusting. But in other countries, burping is a sign of respect to the chef, right? That was fed to them, and that's what they believe now. That is their perspective and their ideas. And it goes bigger and it goes more shallow than that. But like, we are just products of our surroundings, not just, again, some of it is just objective truth and objective facts and biology, and some of it is because how we were raised and the different things we went through and all this stuff, and abuse and trauma and all these other things, and some of it is just the system we were raised in, the culture we were raised in. You were fed these things all your life. It's because of social conditioning, whether you like it or not.
They keep screaming to wake up, but they're all woke, not awake. We know the system has failed us and all the media's fake. I swear the government hates us. Having opinions is dangerous. The system built to enslave us only works if we're afraid. I am not Republican, I am not a liberal. I am just a man who knows they're scared of a nation that's thinking critical. They kill us or they lock us up for nothing like we're criminals. Divide us cause they know that unified we are invincible. Questioning the government's agenda is controversial, but promoting guns and liquor in our music is commercial. They're confusing us with pronouns they made up to make us triggered. You can call me what you want, but just don't call me late for dinner. School teaches you to learn and never teaches you to think. So you absorb misinformation, then you practice what they preach. You ain't free, can't you see that's how they want you to act? That's called conforming to the norm, you don't need freedom for that. I'm not Republican or liberal or left-wing or right-leaning. I took the red pills cause that's who's fighting for my freedoms. And you don't need to choose to be accepted, they both fake teams. Evil runs the world now like hell ain't got no vacancy.
He talked about how like they want us divided, the higher ups, the puppeteers, whatever you want to call it, is because unified, we're dangerous for them, right? Unified, we're powerful, and it's more of us than them, right? And people have said that forever. For decades, people have been saying that. Artists, philosophers, writers, musicians, poets, political talking heads, philosophers, teachers, people have been saying this forever. It's never gonna happen. Not on a large scale, and I'll tell you why. Because people really like their tribes. The left doesn't want to align with the right, and the right doesn't want to align with the left. I reacted to a Billie Eilish, like, I don't know, like a year ago or something. And Billie Eilish was saying that she thinks porn is really dangerous and unhealthy for her generation. And I reacted to this and I was like, that's a good thing. I'm glad she's talking about this. She is young. She's speaking to the younger generation and she's really bringing up an important point. Instead of the Republicans who actually have the same idea that she has, supporting her doing this, it's, well, she's a liberal, so I don't care what she has to say. She's a progressive, so I don't care. She's a feminist, so I don't care what she has to say. Like, she's literally agreeing with you guys on something. But you didn't care what she has to say because she belongs to the other side. And people really like their teams. It makes them feel like they belong somewhere. It makes them feel like they're important. They make them feel like they're self-righteous or they're right about, they're on the right side of things. People like their teams. People like to root for a team. And I'm not going to join the enemy, right? Because right now, the left thinks the right is trying to destroy America and the right thinks the left is trying to destroy America. So why would I want to join teams and join sides with the side that I think is trying to fucking destroy America? So no, there won't be no unification because people like their tribes. People like their teams.
School teaches you to learn and never teaches you to think. So you absorb misinformation, then you practice what they preach.
School teaches you to learn. They don't teach you how to think. This has been said over and over again. This is not nothing new. But you know, I heard Tom, he said like they teach you misinformation and then you just repeat it, and I do agree with that. But there's another thing that's going on. I don't know if you guys seen these videos. All these teachers are coming out and saying basically Gen Alpha and a younger Gen Z generation is stupid. They're illiterate and they're not learning. They can't read and have no social skills. They're really, really behind in their education where they should be. They should be failing, but the schools keep pushing them through. So you're going to have a bunch of illiterate doctors and lawyers, or people trying to become doctors and lawyers running around in America in the next handful of years.
You ain't free, can't you see that's how they want you to act? That's called conforming to the norm, you don't need freedom for that.
You're just conforming to the norm and you don't need freedom for that. Very true. Conformity is not freedom. Conformity, again, I think is human behavior, but it's not freedom. And I think, again, what the left and the right is fighting for is trying to fight what's going to be the new norm that people conform to. And both things is not respecting the individual or individual rights and liberties and wants and desires and stuff like that. I know the left like tries to say that they're against social conformity, but they're very much pro social conformity. That's where the cancel culture comes from. It's just that they want the society to look different. They want to create new rules to conform to new norms. But either way, anyone who wants to push for complete, like there's certain things that's called social agreements. Like we agree not to steal from each other and beat each other up in the streets, and we agree to say thank you if someone gives me something, right? But to push for everyone to conform to one type of way of living, one type of way of thinking, one perspective of the way to see the world, that is not respecting the individual or individuality. And for me, if you don't respect the individual rights, if you don't respect individual freedoms, you're definitely not on the side of America. Like you're not on the side of even what I thought conservatism and even liberalism was.
They keep screaming to wake up, but they're all woke, not awake. We know the system has failed us and all the media's fake. I swear the government hates us, having opinions is dangerous. The system built to enslave us only works if we're afraid.
All right, that's it, guys. That's Tom Macdonald. And by the way, FYI, I actually recorded this whole thing previously, but the audio was corrupted, so I had to very much motivate myself to do it all over again. But it's never going to be as good as the first one. The first one was a banger. The first take was so good and I had so much fun. But now I was tired to have to do it a second time and remember all my talking points. Yeah. Anywho, all right, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I know this video was a little bit longer. It wasn't as long as the original take. That was a long one because I was really breaking it down. But guys, it's getting later in the day. I had a long day and I just want to get this video done and out. Maybe I'll do my other takes in the Ben Shapiro video that I'm going to react to. Not the Ben Shapiro video, but the Tom Macdonald video he did with Ben Shapiro, featuring Ben Shapiro. Let me know what you guys think of what I said or with this video in the comment section below. If you're offended by anything I said, then I guess I was talking about you, because if I wasn't talking about you, then you shouldn't be offended. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications when I do upload. All that really does help with the algorithm, guys. You can donate. Please donate. Help me get a new camera battery, a new setup. You can PayPal me or Cash at me in the links down below, or you can super thanks. If you super thanks with a comment, I'll read it in the next video. And you guys have an amazing, beautiful day. Bye.
I am not Republican, I am not a liberal. Why the hell can't I just be American without getting political? The system gon' suppress us all, they don't care about the cost. How's this a democracy when we got communists?